a case in which you granted pretrial release to the defendant. It was a child pornography case. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Now, you said in your responses to the panel's questions that the defendant had no criminal convictions and had lived in Nebraska his entire life, and that he owned the home he was living in and was employed. I understand, however, at the time that you granted him release, the Omaha Police Department had an open investigation regarding the sexual assault of a 7-year-old child.
Hey, legal enthusiasts. Today I'm diving into a heated exchange from a recent Senate Judiciary hearing. Senator Josh Hawley grilled a judicial nominee over a controversial case, United States versus Bonnick. First, let's set the stage. This case dates back to 2017 and involves a defendant charged with possession of child pornography. At the time, the nominee granted the defendant pretrial release. Sounds straightforward, right? But here's the catch.
Congratulations to all of the nominees. Thank you all for being here. Judge Bezos, if I could just start with you. I want to ask you about this case, United States versus Bartunik, I think it is, from 2017. Do you remember this case?
I do.
This is a case in which you granted pretrial release to the defendant. It was a child pornography case. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Now, you said in your responses to the panel's questions that the defendant had no criminal convictions and had lived in Nebraska his entire life, and that he owned the home he was living in and was employed. I understand, however, at the time that you granted him release, the Omaha Police Department had an open investigation regarding the sexual assault of a 7-year-old child in which he was the subject. He was the suspect, and that was in the pre-sentence report. So just walk me through your thinking.
During the hearing, I asked for additional information from the government, and they couldn't give it to me, so we didn't have a lot of facts in regards to that. The facts and circumstances, there was no additional information that was provided to me at that time.
So you didn't know he was the subject of the investigation?
There may have been a mention, but the question I had was, well, what does that mean? Has there been a report made? Is he truly the suspect, or was his name just mentioned? What were the circumstances? And at that point in time, there was no additional information that could be given.
I see. So it looks like to me what was, according to the revised PSR, the Omaha Police Department has an open investigation regarding the sexual assault of a 7-year-old child, who's then identified with initials, in which the defendant is the subject. But you're saying that you thought that was not sufficient in order to guide your judgment?
Was that?
Omaha Police Department reportedly had an open investigation linking this same defendant to the sexual assault of a 7-year-old child. Hawley asked point blank if the nominee remembered the details. The nominee acknowledged the case and explained their reasoning. The defendant had no prior convictions, was a longtime Nebraska resident, owned a home, and was employed. But here's where it gets sticky. Hawley pointed out that the police investigation into the alleged assault was flagged in the pre-sentence report. The nominee claimed they didn't have enough specific information at the time to weigh it heavily in their decision. This led to a critical back and forth, with Hawley repeatedly asking, "Is your memory any different?" He wanted to clarify whether the nominee was aware of the investigation when the decision was made. The nominee stated that they believed they didn't have the full picture at the time but agreed to review the pretrial report for confirmation. This exchange raises broader questions about judicial decision-making and accountability. What should judges consider when making decisions in cases involving allegations as serious as these? Are systemic issues at play in how information is communicated during these proceedings? In the end, the exchange left many questions unanswered. Hawley's intense questioning highlighted the stakes of judicial appointments and the impact of their decisions. Whether you're following this case closely or just hearing about it now, it's clear that the balance between due process and protecting vulnerable individuals remains a vital topic of discussion. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown informative, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and of course, stay tuned for more deep dives into today's pressing issues. See you next time.